Hey everybody, it's Val. Hope you're doing good. It is Saturday, and I don't know how the weather is where you're at, but here it is overcast and humid. It's the perfect combination. The perfect combination of what you want on a Saturday is overcast and humid. That is what it is. And as such, I wanted to lighten things up a bit and have some levity and make things buoyant and all those good adjectives. So I decided to do a video looking at some of my toy collection because I think that would be really fun. And what I chose, the topic I chose, it's gonna get a little weird, but not that weird. But it's a little bit weird. It's all the male fashion dolls in my doll collection. So in terms of, and they're not all fashion dolls. I'm saying fashion dolls, but they're not all specifically about fashion. And some of them get really weird, as you will see. But they're basically the male dolls, of which companies don't for their doll lines don't make a lot of male dolls. Usually make one or maybe two male dolls in a collection that they present. But I have here a whole box of them. And I would say the ratio of male dolls to female dolls, I have like about 8 times as many female dolls as male dolls. But I thought this would be kind of interesting because the old what is it? The old cliche adage, argument, fist fight. That old thing about is it an action figure or is it a doll? What makes an action figure? What makes a doll? Um, some people say that the presence of cloth clothing on a like actual clothing on the removable clothing on a toy that makes it a doll. But then you have GI Joe and Captain Action, of which I also have those, but today is not focusing on that. But those are those dolls? Or are they action figures? So there you go. But I would say everything I'm showing here, for the most part, are really dolls. And I'm going to start with something with some stuff that's kind of normal, and then we're going to go into some stuff that's kind of weird. So the first thing I'm going to show you is what's this? Do you recognize this fellow? No, it's not Ryan Gosling, but it is Ken. This is an actual Ken doll. This is a Ken doll, a recent one. It's from Mattel's budget line, and this line was about sort of paying tribute to the great vintage Barbies and Kens of yore. And this is supposed to be representing the Great Western Ken from the early 1980s. Except, the actual Western Ken from the early 1980s had this really great detailed outfit, and everything on his shirt is printed except for his collar. They actually did sew the collar in there, separate collar, so that's great. This is it's a budget line, so like he doesn't have any articulated elbows or knees or anything like that, but he's supposed to be Western Ken. And I don't know if this is the Ken that you remember, but this is what the current basic Ken looks like, with this sort of ice cream top hairdo, and definitely slimmer than the old Kens, definitely a little bit slimmer. But this is Ken. So this is starting out simple here, and then we're gonna get weird. So stay tuned. Um, and then do I have anything else that's not weird here? I think it's gonna go straight to. I think it's gonna go straight to weird. Um, Okay, there's no. All right, so let's go for something completely different, or a little bit different. Let's do a little different. Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm going to show you another Ken. I'm going to show you another Ken, just because I want to brace you for the stuff that you're going to. Because you're going to see some weird shit on this video. I'm telling you, it's stuff you've never heard of before. You'll be like, why did this woman do this? So we really wanted this to be, sort of kind of easy into it. So here we have another Ken. Here we have another Ken, and as you can see, he looks pretty much like the first Ken. And ice cream top hair. The outfit, I bought this outfit on that great site known as Temu. So this is an outfit I bought especially for him, and then I gave him these lovely sandals. So he's kind of a sensitive soul. He walks the beaches. It's like he writes poetry. I haven't named these for the most part, but he would be like what would I call him? Trevor. Sage. I'm gonna call him Sage. So yeah, it's a hoodie, and so this is like another Ken that I own. Very simple. Oh, I do notice that if when looking at both of them, that the this one doesn't Sage doesn't smile because he's super deep, whereas the other guy, or is it, he smiles a lot because he's doesn't have a thought in his head. But yeah, so there are some Kens, and now I feel like I'm gonna dig to the bottom of of this thing because I want to show you. What do I want to show you? Where is it? Oh my God, it's all the way in the bottom. I can't believe this. All right, and now I'm gonna show you. I need to take him out of the plastic. Who's this? Who is this? Do you know who this is? Let me take this out of the plastic with one hand. Who is this strapping gent? Who is this guy? Do you know who this guy is? Yes, this is the movie Ken. This is... I'm still working on my setup, folks. Just patience. Here we go. So that is movie Ken. And this is how he looked like right out of the box. So it has his hand kind of charmingly in his pocket. And he's got his sneakers and doo. And this is supposed to be Ryan Gosling, but not really supposed to be Ryan Gosling. I think Mattel actually made a Ken that actually kind of looks more like Ryan Gosling. So this doesn't really look like Ryan Gosling, but he's handsome. And this is movie Ken, and he's got his hair is, I think, it's pasted down. I think he doesn't have mousse in his hair; it's just like paste. And he's very charming. He comes with a skateboard, which is really great. The skateboard, and yeah. So that's now for something completely different. One of the things I like to do for in spare time is which I haven't shown you a lot of, but I probably will, and then that'll be it. Then you'll just be like, you know what, I can't follow this channel anymore. I like to make mixed media art. That's a scary intro, isn't it? I like to make mixed media art. I like to take things that I found stuff or whatever, and I like to just make like assemblages and totems and things out of them. So one day I had this Ken that looked like the other Kens. No, well, not the Ryan Gosling Ken, but the other Kens. And he was just some rando Ken I got on this really cheap lot, and he didn't have any clothes, he didn't have everything, really boring. I was like, what can I do to make him more interesting? And so I decided to make an art project. All right, are you ready? Are you ready for the art project? Okay, let me try it. Try this. Okay, here's your art project. Ta-da! I decided to make him as like a weird Baron Samedi type character with a top hat, which is actually the top hat from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, vintage Sabrina the Teenage Witch doll set. That's a top hat, and this is the jacket from the Johnny Depp Mad Hatter from that doll line. And I decided to just make an art piece of him, and that's totally Masonic, and just have a lot of fun with him. So he's a weirdo. And yeah, so this one, he doesn't have a name, but yeah, so this is like, me sort of like saying, this is really boring, what can I do? And there he is. Sort of the Mad Hatter. You can call him the Mad Hatter in a way, but this is me just trying to have some fun. People, just, life is short, gotta have some fun. So there is this. So this is like my variant on the Ken theme. This sort of which guy can, just to liven it up a bit. So I have that, but it gets weirder. But now I'm gonna be a little less weird. I'm gonna be a little less weird. I'm gonna show you this doll. All right, so this doll. All right, here. So this is from a line from I think the 2000s. I don't think it was in the 2010s, but the 2000s, called Flavas. You've heard that right, folks. Flavas. This is, I forgot his name, but he's one of the guys from the Flavas line. And you want to ask yourself, how did I find this doll? This charming doll who does have what they call green ear, because he used to have a piercing on this ear. You can see. And you can remove the green ear. There's ways to do it. I haven't gotten there yet, but I could. And he has flocked hair, so his hair is fuzzy. And this is not his original outfit. This is just like a amalgam of like Ken and whatever. Now, how did I find this? So one day I was walking through my old neighborhood, and there was a private house that had completely flooded. Like, just, I don't know if the boiler exploded or pipes exploded or it was a storm. I don't remember what it was, but everything was just gutted. Like, it just, like, you could tell, like, the whole basement had been flooded out, and they just put everything in this big, moist bunch, on the side of the road in front of the house. And I looked there, and lying lying there was this doll, completely buck naked, just covered in filth, in the midst of this complete destruction. And I was like, I'm gonna take this guy home and clean him out. Not clean him, I mean, like, he was just filled with filth and everything, and I cleaned him, and then I, made him a cocoa, and then I dressed him, and but he's a Flava. And the Flavas are a bit taller than Ken's, and they're a bit more articulated, and they're really supposed to be sort of like urban cool kids and stuff like that. So, but this was a rescue, and one day we'll get that green ear taken care of, but this is a Flava doll. Look it up. Next up, what's next up? Okay, I'm going to show you a favorite. I'm going to show you a favorite of mine. All right, you ready? This is going to be great. Greg. I'm going to show you Greg. This is Greg, folks. Can you see him? I'm going to... All right, I'm going to just wait. All right, here we go. I'm going to show you Greg. This is Greg. Everybody, this is Greg. Greg was from a toy line from a few years ago, made by a very indie toy maker. They made a line called Naturalistas, which were African American dolls, mostly female dolls. But they did make a boy doll, and his name is Greg. This is Greg. He is. I'm just gonna fix his shirt here. Greg, much like the Flava doll we saw earlier, has flocked hair, and very well dressed, and then a really adorable face. He had a really adorable face, and I remember in the doll collecting community, when he came out, you just started seeing like a bunch of these channels, like the women, a bunch of these channels, they would just kind of slowly like add a Greg to their collection, and there'd just be like in hushed tones, like it's Greg. I have Greg. Because he's adorable. Like, it's just a cute sculpt. It's really adorable. Just so sweet. And his pants are just so nicely tailored for male doll pants. They're just, the whole thing is just, he's Greg. So, love Greg. He's got his little messenger bag. It's part of the Fade collection. And, he's good people. I love him. Greg. Next up, it is so humid. It's almost air conditioner weather, and I don't know how that's gonna square away with the sound here, but it's, or maybe just these. Never mind. Okay, so moving right along. I'm going to get to the weird stuff. It's getting weird. All right. This is going to be weird. This is gonna be weird, but I'm going to show you now a couple of male dolls from a doll collection, shorter dolls from a doll collection made by a company called MGA, and they're the OMGs. LOL was mostly, again, a doll line of female dolls. But they notably put out a couple of very interesting dolls, and I'm going to show you them now. First one is to fix this necklace. Oh, there you go. This is my God, what is his name? I forgot his name. Kulev. His name is Kulev. His name is Kulev. That is his name, Cool, and then the word Lev. This is Kulev, and I don't have all his accessories and stuff. He's all kind of bunched up there. I don't have all his accessories and stuff, but what you may be able to tell by the shorts, and definitely you could tell by all the accessories he had, because he has like a skateboard. Like he's a cool guy, Kulev. He's kind of based on Keith Haring, the artist Keith Haring. So that was kind of like, he was sort of an artist, and all his accessories, like his jacket and his skateboard and all the stuff that came with him, was like supposed to look like kind of like Keith Haring. And let me try to. Oh, that's what I should show you. I should show you his hair, because you're not getting the full Kulev treatment. Okay. Do you see it now? Right? 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 He's got some fuzz in his head. But, yeah. So, like, he's got that Keith Haring stuff on his head, and he is Kulev. And he's adorable. He's adorable. He's an adorable doll. You know, his male fashion doll. He's cute as his head is adorable. So, but wait, there's more, because MGA didn't just make Kulev for the LOL OMGs. They also made Rocker Boy. Rocker Boy, B-O-I, Rocker Boy. This is Rocker Boy. And he's like Motley Crue, Rocker Boy. And he's actually wearing Kulev's pants, because as you will see, I had to share their clothing with other dolls of their height who needed clothing. But yeah, this is Rocker Boy, and you may say to yourself, Val, this really looks like a female doll. These, especially like the, but if you saw the OMG girls, this looks much different than the OMG girls, and he's got kind of a, like a rack, and like muscles and whatnot. So, but this is a Rocker Boy. So there you go, Kulev and Rocker Boy. And then I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna do next. All right, you know what? Now I'm gonna do something a little bit more normal, kind of. And the next one I'm gonna show you is a cheat. Because it actually is an action figure. I dressed him with Ken clothes and other doll line clothes, but he is kind of an action figure. So, are you ready? Are you ready for this? Who's this? Can anybody tell me who this is? Who is this? Dun 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 dun. I hate sand. Can you tell who this is? Obi-Wan, you messed up my life. Can you tell who this is? If you said Anakin Skywalker, you would be correct. And look how buff this dude is. Look at his hands. His hands are almost as big as his head. Because this, I believe, was made by Hasbro, who made the modern G.I. Joe dolls. And I can almost bet you that this is the same body as those G.I. Joe dolls. This is like the same big buff body, but they put this Anakin Skywalker head. And it's a pretty good sculpt. He's got the little ponytail. And, I dressed him in other doll clothes. And Ken and other... Actually, not Ken. These were like rainbow high clothes. No things that would fit him. But yeah, so this is Anakin Skywalker. And... again, not really, kind of not a an action, not really a fashion doll, an action figure, but he's when you see the other stuff I have. So, before I get to the really weird stuff, let's see. I'm gonna show you a couple of just quickly a couple of other dolls like the OMG LOL boy dolls that are smaller. Um, this one is from a line called Cave Club, and his name is Slate, and he is an artist, and he has a fade, and as with a lot of these lines, this is like the only male doll in the Cave Club collection. He's the only guy on the block, and he has like a paints. He's holding like sort of like a belt with paints, and he's got like a he's all ready to go. But this is Slate, and I believe there is a male YouTuber who collects toys and dolls. And I always thought Slate was very obscure, but this one YouTuber, I forgot his name, he loves, like, he has like 50 Slate dolls. And so then I was just like, he really made Slate cool. He made Slate cool. So then I felt better about having Slate, because then I was like, Slate is cool. He's kind of small, but he's a kid. He's not really, he's just a kid who paints and such. So this is Slate. Along those lines, there's another doll line. I guess for definitely this doll line was for kids. It was based on a cartoon called Karma's World, and I had gotten a set of 3 of them like for $7 on Amazon a bunch of years ago. And when I was downsizing stuff, I got rid of the other dolls, the girl dolls, but I kept him. His name is Winston, and much like Slate, because he kind of looks like Slate too. He's also an artist. So I don't know if there's a thing where they're just like, he is also a painter and an artist. And I just thought he was cute. Like, this is just, I know like boys don't play with dolls, or maybe they do play with dolls and stuff. Boys, I guess, are not supposed to. I don't know what boys do. Modern boys do. I think they just play Minecraft and Roblox blocks, I think. But I don't know. I think this is a great representation of just like a kid. Like, actually, this is really well done. So there you go. There's Winston, who likes Slate. They're painters, so that's they can hang out with the girls because they're artists. So it's like it always is, isn't it? Okay. What's next? Okay. Remember the show Blossom, right? Blossom had her hunky older brother. All right, you getting ready for this? Oh, hunky older brother. Was his name Danny? Danny Russo? I think it was Danny, right? But this is Blossom's older brother, and this really interesting clothes. And this is why I dressed. Well, okay, so this was like another, like, they're very, very kind of there are these flea market like things that in my neighborhood every once in a while, and they were selling him and his sister Blossom, and he didn't have any clothes. He had like the leather jacket, but because of over time the vinyl leather jacket was peeling, so he was basically naked. But it's hard to find clothes for a doll this size. I mean, I think this is taller than a Mego doll, right? So I had to borrow clothing from this gentleman to dress Mr. Russo, and so that's why he's wearing this outfit. Yeah, this is Blossom's brother. One more can be said. That's Blossom's brother, and there you go. Moving right along, I'm going to show you this doll. All right, and oh, by the way, I do have other male fashion dolls like outside of this that are like the Disneys I keep separate with the Disney stuff, and like Monster High stuff I keep separate with the Monster High stuff, and Rainbow High with the Rainbow High stuff. So this is not everything I have in terms of these dolls, these male dolls, but these are just the ones that are just sort of whatever. And so this is technically a Disney doll, and it's from a show called Zombies. And I forgot what his name is. It's probably like, I think it's Zed. if I had to guess. And he's a zombie going to high. I'm just a zombie going to high school, minding my own business. This is a and he has some articulation, not a lot, but you know, he's a zombie. It's kind of like he's got these really cool shoes, and he's just a zombie minding his business. So it's. I think this is really nice, and this could be the Joker. Like this, I guess you could customize this as the Joker if you really wanted to, but I don't because he's just a sweet zombie. Mm. Okay, and then all right, now we're gonna get into the weird shit. Okay, so then the last couple dolls are very strange. You ready for this saga? So, where do I begin? I'm gonna begin. All right, I'm gonna begin here with one day I was on eBay and I saw they were selling a Lone Ranger doll, a doll from the Lone Ranger movie, if you remember that, but from Disney, with no clothes. And you know you know who the star of that Lone Ranger movie was, right? Do you know? Yes, this is an Armie Hammer doll. I own an Armie Hammer doll. Yes, Armie Hammer. Very tan doll because he's Lone Ranger, right? And he's riding out in the sun all day. Though he would actually have like a sun mark around his eyes, I think, for the mask. But yeah, this is. And when I got him, his face, he had like a 5 o'clock shadow, which looked really awful. So I had to very carefully use some paint remover to get that off of him. But this is Armie Hammer. This is an Armie Hammer doll. If you ever wanted to know what an Armie Hammer doll looks like, an official one, stamped official, it's this one. And he is wearing a sort of vintage Ken beach outfit. I mean, even the sneakers. It's a whole set that I got just for him. So we go out on the beach, doop-a-doop-a-doo, and Armie Hammer. But there's a saga attached to him. There's a saga attached to the Armie Hammer doll. And it's the saga of the Inspector Gadget doll. All right, here's this happy-looking fellow. So I think even before I got the Armie Hammer doll, I'm not sure. I was at a garage sale or something, neighborhood garage sale, and they had, for like $1, do you remember, like, I think it was Burger King, McDonald's or Burger King, they had Inspector Gadget set where you would get like his different body parts and put it together, and he would be Inspector Gadget from the Inspector Gadget movie with Matthew Broderick. So, but this was just his head on a torso with no limbs. And it's the saddest thing I ever saw in my life. But I was like, I'm going to buy this. So I did. Like, what am I going to do with this? And meanwhile, he's just sitting there, like, in my shelf of stuff. And, he's just the torso and the head. And he's just going, kill me. Because he's, he doesn't have, it's just, there's nothing there, and it's, the Inspector Gadget, that when you put the whole doll together, I mean, it's really weirdly, like, crazily proportioned, right? So it doesn't look like a doll or any like regular proportion. It's all boxy and weird, and he has a tiny head, and it's doo-doo, But I don't want to put it down. Some people, I think, are very nostalgic about that doll when you put it together, but action figure, excuse me. But so anyway, he was just like, so I looked at his head. I was cooking up a plan because I noticed that in complete difference to the rest of his torso and the rest of the limbs you would get for this doll, he kind of had a Ken-sized head. He kind of had the head of a regular fashion doll, male fashion doll. And so I thought, I could transplant his head onto a regular body. And then I got the Armie Hammer doll, and I was just like, and then I thought to myself, well, he's kind of what if I take off his head and put the Matthew Broderick head on this body? And then then I'll have a Matthew Broderick doll. I mean, what is cooler? Armie Hammer doll or Matthew Broderick doll? You decide. So I did. I'm really sorry. And so I took off Army's head and I put it in the closet there. And he was just there in the closet, kind of like, kill me, kill me. And then I put Matthew's head on there. Though it really didn't match very well because it's very tan body, and it didn't really look great. So then finally, like I would say, even a few days ago, I decided to do more surgery because I was getting rid of. I had more Kens. I had like a bunch of Kens from like the 80s and 90s and stuff, which just, I don't know, they just didn't look great. They're just not my. I'm kind of like with downsizing collections and stuff like that. Like I have to ask myself, does it spark joy, or am I really just saving it to have an example of something to show somebody, when they visit me or when I want a video, just like I have an example of this, or do I really love it? And so there's a bunch of Kens I didn't really love or whatever. I know. I'm heartless. But I decided to do the head transplant with one of the Kens, and there you go. So this is a Matthew Broderick doll, and he still looks miserable, but he doesn't look as miserable as he did when he was just on that Inspector Gadget torso. He looks a little less miserable. He almost has a smile on his. You can almost, I, it's, I could make like a Godzilla 1998 doll. His character from that movie. I could make up the producers. I could make his character from the producer. I could do a lot of things. But right now, I think he's in good shape. He's in this Ken body, some Ken clothes, and I think this is what I do with my free time, folks. It's a Pandora's box of stuff. Oh, I forgot to show you this guy. Okay, here's another blue-haired guy. Because all the guys in these different collections and stuff, they all have to have blue hair. And I actually have another doll from a line called Na Na Na. I mean, there's a whole side of me you don't know with the doll collecting. There's a line called Na Na Na, and they have these boy dolls that are adorable, but I keep them with the Na Na Nas. And one of them has blue hair because that's boy blue hair. So there's another guy. I forgot his name. He's from a collection that's, of course, almost all female dolls, called the Hair Dorables. Yes, the Hair Dorables. And this guy was part of a prom set. So he's dressed for the prom, and that's it's snazzy, looking snazzy, but yeah, they all have a lot of them have blue hair. And then Hair Dorables also had a line of like dolls, like these small little gremlin-y type dolls. I don't know what you call them. Like, so so this is the same here's the same character as a kid. Just because, there you go. And the last, thank you for sticking around this long. The last one I want to show you is also technically, I don't even keep him with the other male fashion dolls in the box, but I just wanted to show you, not technically a fashion doll at all, but has a story. And so those flea markets I told you about that I would go to, there was one stand, and this, when I say flea market, I just mean people who just spontaneously all decide on a Sunday to set up their stuff on the side of the road. Was one guy, he would have this mascot, sitting on top of he would sell like old bootleg DVDs and car parts and stuff, but he would have this mascot sitting buck naked on top of everything, and it was this guy. He would have this doll buck naked, just sitting spread eagle, just sitting there on top of everything. And it was just clearly was not an anatomically correct doll. I don't think there's a single one of any of these guys that are anatomically correct. I know there are certain collector dolls that they have, like male fashion dolls, where I think it's a different story. But nothing's here that's anatomically correct. And he wasn't anatomically correct either, but it just looked really obscene for some reason because he was so muscular. And he didn't even have like fake underwear. Like a lot of these dolls have kind of fake. He had nothing. He was just sitting there like doopity-doo-doo. And he had like, the shoes are just sort of, he doesn't have like separate shoes. So he's just sitting there completely naked except for the shoes and the sash on top of his head. And on this one, I remember one week I was just like, I couldn't take it anymore. I just asked the dude, how much for this? He's like, $5. I was like, okay. And I took him home, and he was filthy. Just like whatever. And he still has paint rub on his nose that I have to touch up. And he has paint rub on his hair too. But then I found out, I looked it up, and I believe he was a Red Ranger. I believe he's a Red Ranger. Um, and he needed a lot of cleaning and stuff. And then I got him a Ken outfit to cover his nakedness. So yes, that's what I do. And so then I was like, nah, the world. Yeah, even his gloves are just part of his arms. It's just, it's like one of these jammies. But I was just like, oh goodness, is that it? I think that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this trip down my psyche. These are male dolls, not action figures, but actual male dolls. Gives you an idea of like what's been on the market. Now you know there's an Army Hammer doll, so that's good. And thank you for watching. I will. We have a great Saturday, and I will talk Sunday, weekend, lifetime, and I will talk to you later.